Got that.
All right. That was good timing.
Ladies and gents. So, it's coming up on my 10-year anniversary since I graduated high school. Not Mesa's, which is like your 15th or 18th or something like that.
It just passed 10. I was hurtful.
So, the other day, right, it's completely off topic, but we're going to make a U-turn. The other day I was texting someone. I don't remember who I was texting. And I'm a horrible, like, I misspell a lot in my text messages. 'Cause I think I go too fast. So I'll miss buttons or I'll combine a lot of words or whatever and I'll send it. And it's because I hate rereading it and, like, doing, like, a rough draft and having to go back and fixing it. So that reminded me of in high school when you used to take, like, the tax or toss, whatever it was at that time, the English test. Well, they would make you write a rough draft and then write the final draft. I hated that. I hated that so much because, like, I spent so much time writing this masterpiece. I got to rewrite it. And so I would, like, end up leaving sentences out because I wanted to hurry up and finish it. I hated it so much. So the question for today is, what are some things you hated about school? What are some things you miss? And we'll start with Dev.
One of the things that I did not like about school was reading out loud. I hated reading out loud, especially the one where, like, you're sitting at your desk and...
Like Ed Sheeran?
Like, thinking out loud? Okay, I was thinking, like, where you going with this?
I was, like, not following you on that one at all.
So, like, you're sitting at your desk. You're not in a group. You're just a single file. And then they're like, all right, you're going to read next. And it's going to go, like, one after the other. You have to read a paragraph. And every time it came to me, my heart was like, do-do, 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 do-do. All right, next person, do-do, 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 do-do. Because every time, like, I would read, I would have to, they were like, read louder. So, like, I'm trying.
Oh, poor David.
Yeah.
You were that kid, huh?
Columbus held Ocean Blue 19.
Can you speak louder? It's like...
I was gonna ask, does he make his kids read? But you do math, so.
Do I make him read? Go ahead.
Yeah, do you make them read? I guess you'll have math problems.
We have math problems. I don't make them read if they don't want to, but this is the thing about it. If they're sitting there talking to someone, like, then I'll get on to them. It's like, so, what do you think? And if they don't say anything, then I'm gonna be like, so you're able to talk to your neighbor about something else that we're not talking about, math, but you can't answer a math problem.
I hated that.
So you're one of those. I was
You're one of those teachers.
Because here's the thing, like I was a shy kid, and I can understand like you don't want to speak out loud, but if I'm talking or someone else is talking, you're talking to somebody else, that's being rude. So I'm gonna have to call you out.
Can you imagine like how he is? Look at his face that he was making right there. Like he's like not playing with them. Can you imagine the eyes he makes all day?
Yeah. And if they're shy, I don't make them talk out loud.
I was shy, and I hated I hated the attention. When attention was gonna be on me by myself, I hated that all through school. I hated it. Like I never wanted the attention. Put it on somebody else. So when they would make us go up there to the board and do things, hated it. Any kind of presentations, hated it.
Yeah, me too.
That's what I hated.
Yeah.
It was like, that's not cool.
I hated the dress codes. So, like in Fort Stockton, you had to have tucked-in T-shirts. You have to have jeans. I couldn't have facial hair. I hated that.
You had to shave.
Yeah. Oh my god, I got in so much
either.
trouble.
I think that's such a weird rule, and I guess it's because it's an old school thing, because now you can go into a job interview and some people don't even shave for job interviews anymore.
Yeah.
So it's like, what lesson are y'all trying to teach me here?
I think that's what people used to argue. Like, why are y'all making them do this?
Making them shave.
Yeah.
I remember one time when I was in class and I was just in there. I had a mustache, but it wasn't like a one how it is like right now. You could see it, but you could barely see it. And I've had it all year. And I was in class. I wasn't doing anything. I was doing my work. And another teacher was coming to talk to my teacher. And then when she was done, she looked at me and another student. And she was like, you need to go shave. And I thought to myself, like, that's kind of rude. I'm not even you're not my teacher. Like I wasn't doing anything
tell me
to
to
you.
follow the rules.
Yeah.
That's rude of you.
But it was the way how she came at me though, because it wasn't like I wasn't being disrespectful. I wasn't saying anything to her. She said like, "Sir, I'm gonna need you to go shave." If she would have said it in a different way, then it would be different. But the way how she did it, because she did it like in front of everybody. She called me and the other guy out like in front of everybody.
Did they make y'all do it in Odessa?
I don't remember. I don't think so. I really don't remember.
As soon as like I was born with this beard.
So
No, I've never heard of that, which is crazy.
I have a funny story about shaving, right? So in high school, we had that obviously that rule about shaving. And in high school, I might have told you guys this story at one point, was I really wanted to grow a beard. I really was like, man, I really, really want a beard. And of course, I was against the rules. So I thought to myself, I'm going to do it anyways, which was smart, right? So I did it. And then it turned into like, how long can I go with this until somebody tells me something? And I had like a full-on beard. Like I was like lining it up every day and stuff. And like
Nice.
the teachers weren't telling me anything. Like nobody, like no other kids were like, how come you have a full-on beard? Like nobody's telling me anything. And I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. Right? I'm like rocking a beard at school. And it was right before Christmas break. And I had been exempt from all my exams, right? And I just had to do one last thing. I had to run a paper from school to the gym. And I'm walking down this long hallway, and it's the vice principal, and he's walking across from me, and I'm like, oh no. So I was like, maybe if I just like tilt my head. So I kind of like just tilted my head down, and like as I was like walking past him, and his name is Mr. Cordova, and I just remember him saying, Mr. Mesa. And I was like, oh. And I like froze, and he goes, follow me, and I was like, oh no. So I'm like, I walk with him to his office. He sits down, and he's like, what do you got going on there? And I'm like, well, what are you talking about? It's like this full beard you have on your face, and I was like, I don't know. So he hands me this blade, this razor blade, and it's like a single blade razor, and he's like, go shave it. And I was like, do we have any shaving cream? He's like, no. I was ripping this hair off of my face, dude. It was so painful. It was the worst thing ever. And then he proceeded to tell me that I'm no longer exempt from all my exams.
Damn.
So I freak out. I'm like, what? No, that's impossible. Basically, I cut a deal with the principal. The principal comes in to overtake him, right? So I'm like, hey, I need to talk to somebody else. He made me move filing cabinets from the counselor's office and the main office of the middle school for 4 hours. And he was able to like basically be like, all right, you're good. But dude, it was miserable. Yeah, but it wasn't worth it at all. But I thought it was super cool with my beard in high school.
So he wasn't. He said, just because you didn't shave your beard, that you
Yeah.
were going to be exempt?
I wasn't. Yeah, I was going to take all my exams.
It sounds like he was using his power, huh?
Yeah, that's kind of unfair.
He did. He was.
That's unfair.
He had a magic trick. He would say, okay, you have 1 day of lunch detention right here, and you have 1 day of lunch detention right here. 2 days lunch detention.
That's kind of cool. Though.
Yeah, you're like, your magic trick sucks.
We had a super weird rule that we couldn't wear skulls on our T-shirt. And I remember getting in trouble one time because I wore a shirt with literally a giant skull, but it was the Punisher.
Uh-huh.
It was the Punisher skull. And I remember them making me turn it inside out, so I had to wear like this inside out
shirt
T-shirt
all
all day.
They would make kids do that. I remember seeing them
Yep.
with their shirts like that. Mm-hmm. Instead of sending them home. Uh-huh.
I'm just trying to remember my like junior high, which is the junior high was the only, we wore uniforms there, but we really didn't have like that intense rules. The tucking, of course, was like super enforced, and the ID, like I just hated some teachers really took that seriously, like having your ID, and some of them didn't.
We didn't have
I was going to
IDs.
say, I didn't have school IDs. That's
I
wild.
don't
Oh shoot!
Yeah,
can't relate.
It's like I hated it because you get on the escalator.
You ride the scooter to class.
No, that's crazy. But yeah, like I had a teacher for astronomy. Actually, he was a coach, and that was his like first thing every single class like day. He would check to see if everyone has an ID. He would go like row by row check, and if you didn't, you had to go get a temporary one, which cost you money, which is crazy.
That's so
Yeah,
random.
because what did they do with them? Because Damien has one.
Yeah, they did temp IDs, and you would get one. You put it on your shirt the whole day,
Oh,
and
that's what they're for.
you had
But
to-
what
and-
are they for?
to know
To make
which
sure
kid
you're
is
supposed to
kid.
go to
Yeah.
school
Make
there.
sure you.
Yeah.
Because it
Oh,
says your
that's so
name, your
wild.
grade. It has your like ID number, barcode on it, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, like, I don't understand. Like, are they getting kids confused
Oh,
with each
man,
other?
just because
Like,
there's
what-
so many of them. Because
Yeah.
their schools are obviously way bigger than ours.
That's true, I guess.
We
There's
have like
always,
20
like-
people in our class.
And then like when you went to go take your ID picture before the school started, like it's just like one picture and that's it. Like you've got to make your count.
Got one
'Cause
shot.
they don't care. They're like clink. All right, next. Clink.
I'm not gonna be cool this year. I'm not gonna be cool this year.
You're like practicing like 3 seconds in the mirror, like the pose you wanted to get in. But yeah, and it was cool because in high school you had different color backgrounds, so like it was like that's how you know which grade you were in. So cool, like textured background or something like that. And yeah, you're a senior, so it's pretty cool.
That's cool.
It's pretty cool. But that's funny that y'all didn't have IDs.
Yeah,
That's
that's
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's
Huh.
crazy.
Do you remember at lunch over at Goliad whenever you were in line for lunch and then there was two different lunch lines and like two different doors. Whenever you came out, you had to go sit. You had to go sit with the table. Like it was in like in a line, but you couldn't like sit with the person that was in line with you. So it's kind of like if Mesa was in one and I was in one. Mesa came out. He has to go straight in the line, go sit down at that table. Then I'm coming next, and I have to sit next to you. Does that make sense?
You had like seating
they-
charge for lunch?
No, they had
No.
2 lines going into the building. Okay, line A,
okay.
line B.
B.
Right.
So they would let one person out of line A, you go. One person out of line B, you go. So you're
Oh, okay.
you're sitting next to whoever just happens to be in the next
Oh,
line.
on the other
You-
line.
Correct. So if me and you are on the same line, 'cause we're lining up, 'cause
We're
we're
not gonna
friends,
sit
we're not
next
gonna
to
sit
each
next
other.
Yeah.
And I hated in elementary is that so they would line us up. We only had one line in elementary, but I would carry my lunch. Like I'll take my lunch because I was a super picky eater. And I hated because they would make me just go ahead and go sit down. So I had to go sit with like some rando. So I would always try to hide my lunch until like, I just like walk in with my friend. Because the lunch ladies, they didn't care. They're like, "You need lunch?" And I was like, "No." And they're like, "Okay." But it's like the coaches and stuff that are like, "You go sit down." And I'm like, "Okay."
I don't know that kid.
So for like your junior high lunches, like even junior high, or
Not in the junior high.
Yeah, elementary.
It's like
I was about to
fifth
say
and sixth
elementary.
grade.
Fifth
Yeah,
and
no,
sixth
is what it
grade,
was.
sure.
And then lower.
I do miss pep rallies. I thought those
Oh
were super
yeah,
cool.
I have
Yes.
said that. Yeah.
Man,
Rallies were dope.
pep
They
rallies
ours
dope.
were so cool. I mean, y'all probably were too, but ours were cooler.
Okay, well, yeah, well, it's
I don't
easier to
know
have cool pep rallies when they have 5 people in there.
Hey,
Ours
man,
were-
there's like 15, okay?
Ours were like intense.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, I'd
okay.
imagine they're stupid.
we would shut down the whole like you wouldn't even like go to school for the first and since I was in band, like we got to literally skip like the whole first 3 periods
Oh,
because
yeah?
of pep rallies. Super
We used
cool.
to be so stoked for Fridays because we'd wear our football jerseys and thought you were king, man.
Yeah.
You got our football jersey like, what's up?
You don't even start. Yeah, I don't care. So,
That's why,
Yeah.
like, Patrick's like, I don't know about Mesa in high school because he was probably like a jock.
I was.
yeah, maybe I would not have been friends.
Probably not.
We had this kid. I remember I hated him in high school. But it was funny because he would brag all the time that he was on the football team, but he wasn't like a starter. You would never see him on the field. Like, he was just not good. And I would always be like, "But you don't like play." That's stupid.
That's funny.
Yeah.
For
I know the guy.
clarification, I did
That's funny.
play
Yeah.
when I wasn't hurt.
Going off that, I miss being in band. You got to go to the games, And my first year I was in high school. This is before they changed like how the classes work, like divisions for football. We went everywhere. It was like the coolest year ever. We went to El Paso. We got to eat at a steakhouse when we were there. Super cool. Went everywhere. Like every Friday was literally like you got to skip the whole day because you got to
Yeah.
travel.
Mm-hmm.
And
We
those
did the
travels,
same thing.
those travels were awesome. Like I just remember having so much fun.
Yeah, everything from basketball to football, baseball too. Our district was Fabens, Tornillo, Anthony. Like they were on the other side of El Paso, so we would leave like 11 o'clock.
It was like the coolest
Yeah,
thing.
and then like, you'd be gone for the whole day. Like that was
Yeah.
it. Like it was
What
super
sucks
cool.
only with band UIL tournaments, like obviously everyone came to Ratliff, which is
Oh
here.
yeah.
So I was like,
So you
man,
did
y'all are
travel?
lucky. Y'all got to take the whole day off.
Yeah, we gotta
and-
come here and go to Gaddy's.
Oh,
I
those
remember.
good
I have a
times.
super funny story about that, right? So we would go to Gaddy's, right, and they would give you like 5 tokens for free, right?
Yeah.
Wrapped up in this tiny little clear package, okay, enough to hold 5 tokens. And whatever, I remember later that night, like I'm asleep, okay, I'm back home asleep, and my mom goes in my room, she's like, "Wake up, Patrick, wake up!" And I'm like, "What? What?" And she's like, "What is this?" And she holds out because this is tiny little clear wrapper. She's like, "What is this?" I'm like, "That's for my Gaddyland tokens." And she's like, "Okay, your brother told me it's for ecstasy." I mean, older brother trying to tell her I'm like doing drugs at Gaddyland.
and not just like recreational drugs.
Yeah, like ecstasy.
That's hardcore.
Open your eyes. Let me see them.
Like,
You're like, Daddy land.
Dilated.
yeah. So yeah, no, I love the trips too. They're so fun, especially
Yeah.
back because I love the
Oh,
games. We
yes.
would be in the stands like
Oh, man.
yelling and like dancing and it was
So
such
it's
a
so
blast.
cool because when you're in band, like you got to like walk. Like if you wanted to walk, like with the football players or just anywhere in the stadium, like you had free roam. You're in band, like you have that uniform on. You can go anywhere. I just remember and especially our rivalry games every year that we had. It was super dope.
Yep.
Super dope. But yeah, I guess the thing I missed the most for sure is band because I did it all the way through. But yeah, it was super cool.
Was anybody in like homemaking class?
Oh, I was.
Yeah, I like that one.
I was for sure.
I was in it for like 2
Why?
I wanted to learn how to sew.
I was
Y'all
in it
had
for like
what?
2 days, like a homemaking class.
Home
We'd do,
ec.
like, yeah.
Home economics? No.
We like cook
No.
cookies.
Yeah, you cook, you bake, you sew, you.
Teach you how
Nope.
to take care of like a little egg
Uh-huh.
baby.
Nope.
I did,
They
Nope.
teach you how to sew a button. That's why
Uh-huh.
he's like, you don't know how to sew? Yes, I did. I took homemaking. Told you how to
I mean,
sew
I
a
took
button.
Spanish in high school. But
I learned how to sew, but I
I
can't do it
was
now.
speaking of language, like I guess I was so cocky that I knew Spanish that I was like, I'm not gonna take Spanish because that'll be too easy. And I freaking went into Latin first day. I was like, no, should have went to Spanish.
I made a mistake.
Yeah,
I had a
took
friend-
Latin.
I had a friend that
Nope.
did the same thing. He was like, "Oh, bro, I'm gonna take French." And I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "I already know Spanish." And I thought, I was being like,
Easy
easy class. I was like, "Why are you leaving?"
Yeah.
Nope.
Yep, I had
Nope.
that friend too.
Easy A, man.
Like a free ride.
We would have our at the end of every year, close to the end, right? Our counselor would pull us in one-on-one and kind of go over what your next schedule should look like, right? And she would always try to get me to go into like the smart people classes, had really good grades. And every year she would sit there and be like, "Patrick, every year I tell you this, we need to put you in AP." And I'm like, "Yeah, nah. Nah, I'm just cool with my friends. I get A's. Like, why would I want to go into hard classes?" So I hated that awkward meeting at the end.
Yep.
Every year I'd have to tell her like, no, I'm not doing none of that.
Did you ever do college classes? Were we in we were in college
I did
English
class.
together, right? I remember whenever they'd have college on Fridays, so you kind of took like the first 2 periods off, or at least second or third. Like you have a first period, then you have second, third period off, so you can just go off and do whatever. That's what I meant.
Yeah, the senior off periods. Yeah, I took college classes online too, and it's super funny. I'm going back to college right now, and they still have like, because it's my same ID, so it just brought back everything I did in high school. And I looked at my stuff and I was like, oh my gosh, I did not care. 2.4 GPA. Like what was wrong with me back in the day? But yeah, it's so funny because you can see like back, like all my stuff was still there, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's crazy. But super, super crazy.
I remember the first off-campus lunch. That was cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We hardly ever had those.
What?
Yeah, we were always like a closed campus. Very rarely.
Huh.
Like I only remember like maybe like 2 or 3 times throughout my whole entire high school where they would be like, "Okay, open campus," and it had to be for something like big. Other than that, they would never let us
Oh,
go.
ours was like straight up just off campus.
Yeah,
freshman
that's
year,
true.
right?
As soon as you get to high school, I
Yep.
mean, you can't drive anywhere.
My mom
obviously, but,
would pick me up, and that's what I miss. She would cook for me every time. Sometimes I would
Yes.
take like extra friends.
Yes, me too.
And she would be like, "Leah, I don't have that much food." Like we'd make it work, like because that's all she cooked.
Yeah,
So it was,
half
like,
a
for
ham
us.
sandwich. Yeah, half a ham.
She's all putting everybody a little bit of taco meat.
But yeah, we didn't have that. But it was only like if the next period you had, like if you had lunch and then the next period you had off, usually people would just leave during that.
Yeah, they're not
I
gonna
was
stay
about to
there.
say
Well,
that.
I mean, like, but that's the only time you get
You're
to eat
off the rest of the day? Nope, you're still here for the rest of everybody else.
No, but like sometimes they do have to come back for the last period.
Yeah,
but
when
that's
we
the same,
started
you know.
closed campus, they just didn't lock you in there because you had nothing to do that period. You're just sitting there.
Did anybody have to go to ISS?
Oh,
Well, what was y'all's called?
ISS.
ISS.
Oh,
I
did
definitely.
not.
I didn't go to like a crazy amount of times, but I did. I remember going. My first time in ISS was because I did. We could sit here forever about this subject. But I remember I was in 6th grade and my PE coach hated me. Right, I was in PE in 6th grade. I don't know if everybody had PE in 6th grade. But anyways, he hated me and like literally hated me. There's a bunch of circumstances I can name where, but I was always in trouble on Fridays. Right, always in trouble. And Fridays were like the free Fridays where you could do cool stuff, right? And I never got to do them. I always had to sit out on the bleachers, right, with all the other troublemakers. And I remember I'm sitting there next to this one kid, and next to these 2 kids, and they had pennies, right? And they were throwing them. They were throwing them at like the kids that were like playing, right?
dang.
And so I'm just like sitting there, right, like all awkwardly, right, or whatever. And the PE coach turns, he like looks at me, he's like, "Come here." And I don't think he's talking to me because I literally didn't do anything. So I'm like ignoring him. He's like, "Come here right now." He like goes up there, marches up, grabs me, right? Takes me all the office. I'm sitting there telling the principal, like, I didn't do anything. Like, I'm just sitting there. And he comes over, like, back into the principal's office. And he like slams a penny on the desk. And he's like, "He was throwing these." And I was like, this doesn't prove anything. Like,
Here's
just
the
found
evidence.
penny. Like,
This
they
is
were
the smoking
throwing them.
gun.
That was the first time I got ISS. Because that stupid incident. I hated that.
So I didn't get ISS, but when I was a senior, my little brother, he was a freshman. So, like the seniors pick on the fish or whatever. And one of my favorite stories is it's our first day of school, And Jeremy gets off the truck, and like we're walking towards the school, and all my friends bombard him and like write like a fish on his face and wrote like a unibrow on him and stuff. Yeah. So like, yeah, so that's what happens. Like in Fort Stockton, like as a freshman coming to school,
Yeah,
you get
They
bullied.
do that.
You get bullied. But so it's funny, right? So he obviously cleans his face and goes to class, and then we're coming out for lunch, and of course he's coming with me. And we're walking out of the school, and my friends see him again. They're like, "Get him!" And like Jeremy takes off running, and I'm like, "Where are you going? I'm your ride." He like stopped in the parking lot and turned around, and started walking towards us, and then like rolled all over him again. It was super funny.
That sucks. I don't want to go there.
I had an astronomy, that same astronomy teacher I was talking about. He was an ex-coach, and he liked like aliens and stuff like that, like the theories. And one day he was starting class, he was setting up the projector, stuff like that, and we didn't want to work. And before he came in, he was like, "Hey, like let's all like talk to him or like bring up UFOs
Distract
or
him.
something
Yeah,
like that."
that's the
And
best.
sure enough, we were all talking. I was like, "Hey, what do you think about this? I heard about this." We went like literally 75% of the class talking about that. He looked up and he's like, "Oh, whoa,
There goes that
we're
class.
not gonna be able to catch up. So yeah, just keep on working on the stuff y'all had before." And we're like, "No." It was so
Heck
funny.
yeah.
Did you ever have that milk in the pouches?
Yep.
On that-
Yep.
You had to
What?
stick the
Yep.
stick the straw.
You never
into
had
the pouch?
milk and
Oh my
pouches?
god.
What?
Oh my
Oh
gosh.
my god, that's crazy. I thought that was just
And
a
like
universal thing.
everybody got the chocolate milk. Like
Yeah, it was like
and
the
you
cool
saw
thing.
like the white milk. You're like,
You're like,
"Ugh."
"Oh, that's
nasty.
gross." Yeah, they're like in little clear
Pouches.
pouches, like the
Heck
size of
yeah.
my wallet. Literally the size of my wallet.
Yes.
And they would just lay flat.
Yes.
And what you would do,
but they're
all
all
the-
wobbly.
Yeah, you would put a straw in it, but the cool kids would bite off
Yes.
the
Yeah.
side end of it. And they were just like sprayed in their mouth.
Talk about germs. But yeah.
That was the cool kids. That made straw. But cool kids, you
Nah,
bite
you
the
would-
end off
you
of
bite
it.
the end off.
We just
Yes.
had the carton.
That's so
Yeah.
crazy. That's so
I
funny.
don't know what y'all are
Nah.
talking about.
I'll
Yeah.
have to show you a
never
picture.
seen that.
What's funny is I just saw a meme the other
I
day
did
about it.
too.
That was like, if you had these growing up, your childhood
Yes.
was dope. And it was like the little clear.
It was like the best
pouches.
chocolate milk
Yeah.
ever.
Never
Yes.
had that.
And it had to be in the pouch
I'm not even.
because
Yeah.
we got carton milk too, and we're like, nah.
Oh,
this
nobody
ain't
would get
it.
the carton ones. Like, there's something about that chocolate milk that just go hard, dude. I don't drink chocolate milk anymore because it doesn't come out of pouches.